So hi everyone, today we will be discussing about one more important concept which is inheritance. Okay, so yesterday and in previous sessions we discussed about cascade and specificity, how it works in applying the CSS, how we can understand which property will get applied to our HTML element. Like those two properties, inheritance is also useful to understand how the style will apply to HTML elements. Okay, so we will discuss about it, and then if we get some time, then we will discuss about box model. So the box model concept is the, again a most important topic of the CSS, and we will see it how it works. Okay, so what is inheritance? So in CSS, some of the CSS properties values, okay, some CSS properties we have applied already. So those CSS properties will be applied, okay, to the child elements also. So if we have applied some property to the parent element, okay, so in this case this is description list, and these are the child, okay, with inside this description list tag, okay, dt and dd. Okay, so if I have applied some CSS property to this dl tag, it will be applied to these child elements also. Okay, so this is inheritance. Okay, but not all the CSS property will apply as, means it will work in a inheritance. Okay, some of the CSS property will get inherited, okay, by their child elements. Okay, while other CSS property will not be inherited by the child elements. So we will see some of them. Okay, so I will check. So we will apply the CSS property to this DL tag. Okay, so one of the very important, what we can say, very common CSS property which gets inherited by child, okay, is the color property. So I will apply some okay, this property, okay, this color. So see, all the description list elements get the same color. Okay, I applied it to the parent element, but it got inherited by other, means its child element also. Okay, but if I apply something like border, okay, so you will see we have applied this border property. Okay, let me just increase the size. So this border property is applied on whole tag, okay, on whole parent element, and it is not applied to the child elements. Okay, this border property is not applied to these child elements, only applied to the parent element. If it could have applied to child element, we could have seen border around this heading and border around this description also. Okay, so if you want to see how this property is inherited, okay, and this property is not inherited, okay, by its child element. So if you want to see, I will just show if border also get inherited, how it could have looked. So it could have looked like this. Every element will have the border, okay, but it doesn't inherit. Okay, so this property doesn't inherit, but the color property will get inherited. Okay, I will remove this one. We'll see one more thing. Okay, let's see if this one will be inherited or not. Okay, so this one is also gets inherited. All the text is now in bold size. Okay, previously only the heading was in bold and other text was in normal state. Now all the text is in bold. So again, this property gets inherited by its child element. Okay, we can control this inheritance behavior with some of the defined values. Okay, we can control this behavior. So how we can control? So now this is color which I have applied to DL tag. Okay, now let's try to control this inheritance in the child tags. Okay, so I will use color property only, and if I want to inherit the same value of the parent tag, okay, if I want to inherit the same value which same as the parent tag, I can use value as inherit. Okay, so this is default behavior. Okay, and no need to add this property like this. Okay, this no need to write like this, because this is the default behavior of the color property. It will obviously gets inherited by the child element. Okay, but still in some of the cases what we can do, like let's see if border gets inherited or not. So see, border property is by default doesn't get inherited, but in this case we what we can say directly return the property. We control the inheritance by using this value inherit. So we are informing to the browser, let's inherit the property value of the parent element to this child element. Okay, so previously when I use for color, it doesn't what we can say, it doesn't what it is not significant. Okay, in this case, because color is already getting inherited by child element. Okay, it is not significant, but in case of border it is significant. Why? Because border property doesn't get inherited by child element, and then we are controlling the inheritance behavior of this property. So with this it gets inherited by the child element. Okay, now something like this color property is by default getting inherited, but I don't want it to be inherited. Okay, I don't want it to be inherited. So what I can do, I can use color and then initial. Okay, so as soon as I put initial, then it put the default value. Okay, it will set to the its initial or default value of that property. Okay, so previously it was in black bold. Okay, so same color it is showing with initial. So if you see the property, so set the color of an element's text. Okay, what value it will provide? It will provide the initial or the default value. Okay, it will set the initial or default value which is given to it by the browser. Okay, browser default value will be provided to it. So browser default value is black, so black color value is provided here. Okay, with initial. Okay, there is another property name. Okay, property value which is unset. Okay, so this unset, what it will do, it will set the natural value, not the default value but the natural value. What it means, if the property is naturally getting inherited, okay, so it will apply the inherited value. But if the property is not getting the inherited, okay, so in this case it will work as a initial value. So if I put unset, so it will work as a inherited only. So you will see inherited value here. Okay, in case of border, okay, so if I put border and unset, so there will be no border, because it is a default behavior. Okay, that it will not get uh, inherited, and no border will be shown. Even if I put initial also, so initial is like default behavior and no border will be shown. But when I put inherit, it will inherit this value. Okay, so you will understand that you will use inherit whenever you want some properties to be inherited by the child element. Okay, you will use this value inherit whenever you want to inherit some value, okay, which is not getting inherited. In our case, border is not getting inherited, so we inherited. Okay, and you will use initial, okay, when you don't want to inherit. Okay, so color is by default getting inherited, but I don't want this inheritance value. I want the initial or default value, so I will put initial. Okay, and if you don't know, you want to go with the natural value. Okay, so in this case you will put unset, that it will be decided by the browser. Well, it will decide based on the property. If the property is getting inherited, it will work as a inherit. Okay. If the property is not getting inherited, it will work as a initial. Okay. So unset means it will be inherit or it will be initial. Okay. So using these values, we are able to control the inheritance. Okay. So now we will discuss about box model. So everything in the CSS is like box, okay? So whatever you will see, so it is like box model, okay? So what happens? You will have content, okay? So one box for content, then it will have padding, okay? So padding is the space between content and border, okay? And then you will have another border, okay? This is border. I will use here as a border. Okay, and then we have another thing which is margin. Okay, so this is content, whatever text, image or any other element. Okay, so whatever space taken by the content will be this part. Then the space between the border and content, so this rectangle is the border. Okay, so space between the content and border will be padding. Okay, so if you want to have some space between border and the content, so you can apply some padding. Okay, and outside the border we will have margin. Okay, so if you want to have some space between multiple elements, like this we can say these two buttons are separated by some space. Okay, so we can apply some margin to it, so they can be spaced evenly, or what space properly, so we can see better way and not stick to each other. Okay, so it will not look good, so we apply some margin, so these two elements will have some space in between them. Okay, so this margin works in these scenarios. Okay, so I will show you in our code. So I have selected DL tag. Okay, now. So this is the box model which I was talking about. So first thing is the content which is in blue. Okay, this is the content. Okay, whatever space taken by our content. Here it is a text. Whatever text I put inside the DL tag is the content. Okay, then a padding, but here in our case there is no padding. So you can understand that. See, there is no space in between the text and the border. Okay, so this is again a not proper thing. Okay, uh, so as you can see there is no padding, so T and the border is like stick to each other, or there is no space even for E also. Then if I go to here, this lights off. Okay, so there is no space. So to resolve this scenario and want to have some space in between border and your content, you will put padding. Okay, so I can put padding and I will have some space in between my text and the border. Okay, then we have border. Okay, that is in red. Okay, and then we have margin. Okay, so margin is outside the border. You can see in the orange, that is of 16 pixel between the our DL description and the P tag, that is this text and this text. So you can see, correct? So you can change these values, okay, using the properties like margin, border or padding. Okay, even here also, below also we have some margin. Okay, so everything in CSS, okay, all these elements will work as a box. Okay, so they will work as a box, and according to their what we can say standard, what they are, if they are block level element or they are inline level element, according to that they will take the place. Okay, and then they will have some default styling. So if I go to this H1, so you will see it has its own default styling. I never apply margin to the H1 tag, but it has directly given, browser has already given the styling to it and given the margin. So headings will be even what we can say properly spaced. Okay, all the headings will be properly spaced. See, all the heading tags has already margins. So that's why whenever we are seeing them, we can see them proper space in between them. And they look good. Instead of like this text, they are not looking like a paragraph. Okay. The purpose of heading is it should look like a heading and there should be some spacing. So it can be easily identified as a heading and it can be differentiated by normal text and as a heading. Okay. So this is the box model. Okay, so now there are two types of box model. Okay, one is the standard box model which we are using right now, and then there is another box model. Okay, so we have like a border box. Okay, this is and normal content box. Okay, so these are the two behavior. Okay, so depending on what it is, okay, if it is a content box or border box, we understand what is the width and height of that box. Okay, so right now we are in content box. Okay, why I will say we are in content box? So I didn't mention anything here as a border box. Okay, we need to explicitly define it as a border box. Okay, else it will be taken as a content box. So what happens in the content box and border box, I will show you. So we already have one, yeah, this box we have with width 200 pixel, height 100 pixel. Okay, this box is here, see this one. Okay, and on our page this is our box. Okay, let me remove this peak tag for now. So this is our box. Okay, and it has width and height of 200 pixel and 100 pixel. So let's see in the inspect element. So this is our box. Okay, and I have given width of 200 and height of 100. So there is no padding, no border, no margin. Okay, so margin is the default one. This margin whatever you are seeing is the default one because div tag, okay, is the block level element. This div tag is the block level element, so even it has taken the this much space, so it will just uh, put the margin, so no element will take place here, and other whatever elements like this hyperlink should be placed on the next line, as we all know. So block level element will take whole space. Okay, and other elements after coming after the block level element will take place on the next line. Okay, so here the main content is of the 200 into 100. Okay, and we are using the box type. Okay, box sizing of content box. So whatever width and height you will apply, okay, it will apply to the content. Okay, whatever width and height you will apply, it will apply to the content. Okay, so let me give some padding of 50 pixel. Yeah, this is better. So we have box and we have applied padding and the what you can say border. So if I see here, so the main thing, okay, the main thing is the content that is of 200 into 100. So it is showing here also in the blue thing. Okay, here you will see in the center as a blue thing. 200 into 100. Then we have 50 of padding. So 50 on top, 50 on bottom, 50 on left and right side. So all over place we have padding of 50 pixel. Okay, and then we have border. Okay, that is of blue color. Fine. So this you can see with the border all the color has applied. Okay, and the content width and height whatever we provided is applied to this content. Okay, but if I change it uh, box sizing to border box. Okay, previously it was for content box. Now you will see the change. So it is evident from here itself that box size has decreased. Okay, previously it was little bit bigger. Now you can see it is smaller in size. So here you will see the content is showing in 95 pixel in a width. Okay, then we have padding of 50 and then border with these things. So this total will, if you calculate the total, it will be of 200. Okay, if you want you can calculate it. So let's calculate with calculator. So we have content width of 94.67, okay, plus padding of 50 on left and right. Okay, so this 50 and this 50, 50, 50, 100. Okay, so I will just put like 50, okay, and 50, 194.67, and then border of 2.667 and 2.667. So it becomes approximately equal to 200. So whatever width we are providing here, 200, will be taken till border. Okay, till this border it will calculate as a width. Okay, but previously when we were using content box, so that content itself was having width 200. So this is the major difference of using the box model. So there are two types of box sizing, content box and border box. Okay, so if you are using content box, whatever width and height you will apply, it will apply to that content box. Okay, this content box, it will apply width and height. Okay, but if you apply the border box, then width will apply from this border to this border. From left border to right border, it will calculate total width as a 200 and height will be 100. So already our height is 50, 50, 100 already taken. So let me just put 300. Okay. So now if we calculate this height from top border to bottom border, it will be 300. Okay, so it will be like border box width and height and content box width and height. So this is the major difference, okay, of using this box sizing. So it depends on the developer's choice what they want to go with. Okay, if they want to go with border box or if they want to go with content box. Okay, so it's up to developer choice. Okay, so this is one difference. Now we will see how we can deal with margin, padding, how we can change the values. So as you can see, I have already provided border. We already know how I can put width of that border, then what kind of border I require, solid line or dotted line or dash line, and then color of the border. Okay, with padding, this is shorthand property. Okay, shorthand property means I have applied 50 pixel, so it will be applied to all the sizes, top padding, bottom padding, left padding, and right padding also. Okay, if you want to give different values on different padding levels, so it will be like uh, so it will go from clockwise, top, right, bottom, left. Okay, so I was like just directly giving values, so because of that so now you will see 50, 30, 50, 30. Okay, so we have applied the padding like 50 pixel, 30 pixel on the right, 50 pixel again to bottom, and 30 pixel on the left. Okay, if right now we are applying the same values to top and bottom, and for left and right 30, 30. So what we can do, we can just directly remove it. Okay, like this. So it will uh, apply the same value of top to bottom and same value of right to left. Okay, so see 50, 50, 30, 30. So you can apply like this. And if you are going to apply the same value everywhere, so you just need to provide same just one value. So it will be taken at the all sides. Okay, so if you want to apply same value to all side, apply single value. If you want to apply some value, different value on top, bottom and left, right, so for top, bottom you can apply one value, that is 50, and for left, right you can apply like 30 pixel, and it will be 30 30 and 50 50. If you want to apply different value everywhere, so you can do like this: 40 pixel, then 20 pixel. So you will see 50, 40, 30, 20, different values. Okay, same is the case with the margin also. Okay, so margin is the space outside the border. Okay, outside the border, this one. So let me put like 50 pixel. So see, margin 50 pixel from the left side, from above, okay, and from bottom, and here it will have more margin actually. Means it is shown as a 50, fine, but it has more margin because it is a block level element and it will take whole space of that particular line. Okay, but from side it is 50, above 50 and below 50. Okay, same thing, again same thing you can apply here also. So for top and bottom it will be 50 pixel, and for left and right it will be 40 pixel. So see, for left and right 40, top and bottom 50. And if I do it like this also, it will work. See, 50, 40, 30, 20. Okay. So this is the different way you can apply the padding and margin. Okay. So as we understood that every element of our CSS will be working in a box. Okay, all these things are working in a box. So if you can see here, if I hover on every other element, you will see the box for it. Okay, with margin, border, all those things. So now this is commented part, and here is the p tag, all those things. Okay, here you can see whatever class you have applied, you can see the styles whatever you have applied. So here it is showing me my own CSS, that is I have applied class that is dot box, and it has this CSS width 200 pixel, height 300 pixel. So this way we can debug it also easily. So you can see what properties I have applied, and even this way you can understand how it is working, how it is placed here, with which way. Okay, like this, so you can understand it. So how you can understand, we already know, we need to right click and do click on inspect element, and then inside the elements you will find these options. So you can see what is the size of your content, padding, border and margin, how, why it look like this, why there is space in between these two things like input element and box. You can understand it, so you will understand, okay, there is margin of 50 pixel on top, so that's why we have this spacing in between these two elements. Okay, and then why this margin of 50 pixel, so you can see here style, so you can see, okay, this style we have applied here. So if I want to remove it or want to reduce it, I can do it. So I will reduce it to 30 according to my requirement, like this. So I can see, okay, now this is fine for me, and then you can change it even if you want, before doing changes directly on your code. Okay, so consider we were having 50 pixel already. Okay, this one. So what you can do, if you want to uh, check it for temporary purpose, so you can change the values here also directly and see how it works. Okay, so you can understand, okay, if it is working fine or not, and then you can directly change in your code. So first you can change here. Okay, if it is working fine, then you can change in your code. Okay, so this is better way of doing debugging. Okay, so right now my value is 50 pixel on margin top, but I change it to 30 pixel. I check, okay, this is looking fine. Now I will change it in my code directly. Okay, instead of directly doing change in your code. Okay, then I think we will stop here right now. There are more things on the box model that we will discuss in the tomorrow's session. Okay, thank you guys, and